Uh, Wikipedia has your finishing moves listed as South of Heaven, which is a sit-out chokeslam, and a Psycho Driver, a torture rack pile driver, which kind of go into my next segment where I like to take a look at people's finishes, why they do them, and like what went into selecting those moves. Are those correct as your finishes?
I wouldn't call. I mean, I guess the Psycho Driver. I have won matches with it. I wouldn't necessarily call it. I call it a signature move more than a finisher.
Yeah.
But I have had I've won matches with it. If anything, I would use because I also use a curb stomp. I use that Falcon throw, the top rope spin kick, and a springboard punch that I've all used as to win matches. But
Yeah.
the South of Heaven Chokeslam is definitely the main. That's my finisher.
So, where did you first get the idea to do that? We've seen it done before. I remember, Test used to do it way back in the day too, and you're sort of similar to him as far as size, stature, things like that. But where did the motivation come on your part?
For the South of Heaven Chokeslam, I was at training at the old Monster Factory, and at the time, the trainer on Sundays was Jim Molyneux, who was a referee for ECW, and it was before I had my first match, and he was telling me, "Well, we got to come up with a finisher for you," and he was like, "Try a choke slam," and I was like, I've always been the reason why I got into pro wrestling was because of the Undertaker. I was a big fan, and just everything about him. So when he said try a choke slam, I got excited. And the first time I tried it, it didn't come out smooth. Then I tried it again and I fell. But when I fell sitting down. And then he said, well, maybe because it was a big guy that was trying it on. So then Jim mentioned maybe try something else. I was like, hold on, can I try that one more time? And then I did it and purposely fell where I landed sitting out, and I did a sit-out choke slam. And he saw it and he was like, that's it. And I was like, sweet. And then I decided to call it the South of Heaven Chokeslam, because of Slayer, and they have a song named South of Heaven in the album. So that's how that came to be, basically.
And the sit out, makes it look like it has like so much more velocity to it too, because you're going down with them. Have you ever ran into anybody that maybe had trouble taking it or took it with like just the greatest of ease? It's pretty basic back bump, but there's sometimes when I see you like almost deadlift people from their knees, which I think is just a cool visual.
Yeah, I never had a problem with anybody doing it, really. I mean, it's like you said, it's basic, it's simple, and effective, and it looks, powerful. So as far as favorites to do it to, I mean, Osprey, I gave him a pretty good one, where I was almost gorilla pressing him into it, and so that was pretty cool. But yeah, I do enjoy doing the deadlift. Jay White, I deadlift chokes him a few times, and although it may seem like he's not a big guy, he's a pretty thick person. He's a heavyweight, and he's all muscle. So that one was a little challenging, but it worked out really well because I fully praise him. He's really good. So, and he took it really well. So I had some really good ones with him. Jay Lethal took a really good one. So I do have, certain people that I know can take it better than others. Obviously, I don't expect, Beer City Bruiser to take it like Jay Lethal does, but he can still take a pretty good one too.
Have you ever run into any of those guys who are selling and they comically sell it, and maybe you almost pop in the ring or something, like how The Rock takes the Stone Cold Stunner or something, or how Scott Hall would take the Stunner and he would leap all the way up. Has anybody ever like sold it in a way that you've been like, you son of a bitch?
QT Marshall, I gave him one at the Monster Factory, and he popped almost all the way up to his feet and then fell back down. It was really good, though. It was almost too funny. And we're, really close and good friends, so it wasn't like I took it in a negative way. It was fun.
I remember
he took
seeing,
it really well.
I think it was the Psycho Driver that you did, and somebody did, and they bounced back up, and it was in a Ring of Honor match. Gosh, I want to say it was maybe Kazarian or somebody, but I always liked that one too.
Yeah,
that was really
he's
good.
somebody that. Yep, that one actually caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting that, and then I saw him fly up in the air after we landed, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, you did.
And
it
I don't know if
he
you did that purposely or if it just happened.
Yeah, you did it in the middle of the ring, and you had to pin him in the corner of the ring.
Right, and that's happened. I mean, I've taken moves. I got a double flapjack one time in a tag match, and that was actually my last indie match, and at the Monster Factory. And I remember because it was two big guys. I think it was, like Falaba, Nick Camarado's two big, massive dudes doing it to me. And when the three of us landed, without trying, I landed completely standing up. I bounced from off my chest and face to my feet and then fell back on my face.
Now, has there ever been any? Have there ever been any thoughts of like maybe switching your finishing move, or are you pretty dead set on that, or is there anything that you've tried and been like, that just doesn't work for me?
There's no, I mean, I like my finisher. I've tried different things, and it's not that necessarily that it's not for me, but I like something, I've established that for so many years since my first match, in 2004. That was my finish. So I feel like, I've established it, and everywhere new that I work, and once I do it, people recognize it as my finisher. So to change now, like, I don't know what I would do. Like I said, I've used many moves to finish matches, but the South of Heaven, especially because I named it, and I feel like, and I've seen other people do it, and then on commentary, I've heard other commentators call it the South of Heaven, and that kind of makes me feel good, knowing that almost like it may have been done before me. Right, exactly. It's almost like I named it, so it's kind of cool. So that's why I enjoy doing it. Obviously, I know, depending who I'm in the ring with or what company I'm working with, either I might not be able to use it, or I won't be able to do it to the person I'm in the ring with. So then that's when I switch up things, and that's actually how I started using the curb stomp, just because it's a move I could do to anybody.
And the most important thing, when you do it, people know the match is over.
Right, exactly.